PG&E's monopoly territory is home to 17 million people. It's bigger than most
families already struggle to pay their bills.
Some of the highest rates for power in the nation. Committing crimes. PG&E was convicted of 91 felonies.
Really? I mean, what's next? What are we gonna do?
Only Greybeard can save us.
Once again, the man named Greybeard has saved the world.
Solar power is our only.
Welcome to the channel. My name is Sean Davis, otherwise known as Greybeard, and this is Greybeard Talks Solar. Thank you for joining us today. And just like the title mentioned, I wanted to jump on today and talk about how a Trump victory is actually going to be affecting the solar equation for many of you out there in California. So effectively, we now know who's going to be running the country for the next 4 years. And so this has created a lot of questions that we've gotten both on emails, text messages, etc. Hey, Greybeard, how's this Trump win going to affect solar? Is he going to do away with tax credits? What's going to happen? So I don't blame you for being concerned about it, but here's my take. So let's go back in time a little bit. So if you've been watching everything that's been happening in politics, you know that Trump debated Harris a couple of months ago. It was the only debate that they had. And the only reason I bring that up is that one of the points that was made during that debate was a discussion on the topic of solar. And I was watching, obviously, because I've got an interest in that. And I wasn't sure if it was going to come up or not. But effectively, both Harris and Trump acknowledged that they were both fans of solar. So when it comes to now, Trump winning the election, and he's got this coalition, right? So he's got Elon Musk that's joined to help him, potentially department or the guy running the Department of Government Efficiency, and you've got others that are advising him as well. But effectively, let's take stock of that just for a moment. So Elon Musk owns quite a few different companies, including Tesla, Tesla Motors, and Tesla Energy. Obviously, Tesla is a major player in the energy sector. So with Elon having such a prominent advisory role with Trump, number one, I don't think Elon's going to work against himself. I don't think he would want or favor an elimination of the tax credit. I know that they're going to try to raise as much money as possible to deal with the budget, to deal with our deficit. I think they want to get rid of waste. Everything's on the table potentially. So I know a lot of folks in solar are a bit nervous, but I really don't think that that's highly likely. I don't think that. So little back step here. So Biden signed into law the Inflation Reduction Act, which extended and increased the solar tax credit to 30% through the year 2032. So as part of that legislation, as part of the Inflation Reduction Act, currently solar enjoys a 30% federal income tax credit benefit. And if you're not aware, there's a significant difference between an income tax credit and something that gives you a tax deduction benefit. Now, I'm a former 22-year fiduciary financial advisor. I spent over 2 decades advising people on matters of finance and investing, etc. And so here's the simplest way I can explain how the tax credit benefit works in solar and how it's different than something that gives you a tax deduction benefit. So if you've got a retirement plan and let's say you got a 401k, let's say you and your spouse are employed. Let's say you make $150,000 a year, and let's say you put $15,000 into a 401k. Effectively, what a tax deduction benefit of a retirement plan like a 401k does for you is it allows you to deduct the amount of the contribution against your income. So if you make $150 and you put $15 in, for all intents and purposes, Uncle Sam only sees $135,000 of income instead of the $150. And if you're in a 35% income tax bracket, it saves you $4,750 in tax. So effectively, putting that $15,000 into a retirement plan saves you, and this is a tax deductible plan, saves you $4,750 today. Now, a tax credit is 2 to 3 times more valuable. So let's take that same example. If you have a $15,000 tax credit because you bought a solar system. Now, solar enjoys a 30% federal income tax credit benefit. So effectively, if the system is $50,000, 30% of 50 grand would be 15 grand. I'm just using that as an example. So that would create a $15,000 tax credit benefit for you. So a $15,000 tax credit is a dollar for dollar offset of taxes owed. That's why it's 2 to 3 times more valuable than something that gives you a tax deduction. You had to put 15 into the 401k to save $4,750, but a $15,000 tax credit saves $15,000 worth of tax. Hey, Greybeard, why don't you think Trump would do away with that? Seems pretty expensive. I understand. I agree. But the main reason why is that we need the energy. We do not have enough energy. So, for example, in California alone, California currently sources 31% of its energy needs from outside its own state borders. We can't make enough energy in California to serve our needs now, so we can't do away with solar adoption. Eliminating the tax credit would effectively do away with solar adoption substantially throughout most of the country. Trump's, I think, a fan of solar. Elon is a big fan of solar. Elon has publicly acknowledged that if he took, I want to say it was 1,000 acres or 2,000 acres or something like that in Nevada, he could create enough energy with solar and batteries to power the whole United States. Like he's talked about how much energy the sun has. So I don't think that Elon would be against the tax credit. So I don't think that that's the risk. But here is the risk. Here's the one point that I wanted to really come on here and make. So Trump's been pretty fervent about what he's going to do day one. Drill, baby, drill, right? Like he wants to step on the gas of producing more energy here domestically. Additionally, what has he talked about? He's also talked about tariffs. He's talked about wielding the sword of tariffs with his pen, right? So effectively, tariffs can be punitive. They can be an equalizer. They can be a negotiation point. You can use them in a lot of different ways, but think of it this way. A tariff effectively increases the cost of some other country's good coming into the United States. So let's take a solar panel, for example. Let's say the cost of the solar panel is $300, and let's say that Trump institutes a 50% tariff from anything coming from wherever that solar panel is coming from. So let's say it's coming from Malaysia, Southeast Asia, Germany. Let's say it's coming from China. Let's say wherever it's coming from, South Korea, something like that. So let's say there's a 50% tariff that comes on that. So that $300 solar panel now is going to become a $450 solar panel to get into the United States. And obviously solar companies are then going to pass that cost increase off on you as a consumer. So here's my one concern about solar relative to the Trump presidency, and that is how aggressively he wields or uses tax credits. And I think it has a high chance or a probability of increasing the cost of solar. So what do? If that's a concern for you, if you don't have solar now, if you've been putting it off, maybe you were waiting to see who won the election, maybe you were waiting to see which way the country was going to go before making some big financial decision relative to solar. But here's what I would say to you now. If you're wanting to explore it, now would be the time. I think once he takes office on January 20th and he starts to wield that pen to the advantage of hopefully us all in terms of negotiation, deals that he makes, etc., leverage that he puts on other countries, I do think it has a decent chance of increasing the cost of solar. And I think you should explore it now versus waiting. We'll see. This video will live out there on YouTube for a while, so we'll see if I'm right or wrong on this subject of solar as it relates to Trump taking the presidency. But here's what I would encourage you to do. If you're finding this information valuable, I host 8 different radio stations, a show called SOLARWISE on 8 different stations throughout California. I've got the YouTube channel here, Greybeard Talks Solar, and I've got a couple of different pieces of information I think that would be valuable to you. But the biggest one I think would be this. Time is not on your side. California's energy future, very costly and uncertain times ahead. So I've got this special report that I'll send you. If you text YouTube to 84503, so we have a 5-digit slick text code, 84503. If you text YouTube to 84503, I've got some resources I'll send you that maybe help you to sort this out, further your knowledge on solar. We want you to be SOLARWISE, which is why we lead first with this video series and our literature that we can send. So if you text YouTube to 84503, we'll make sure that gets to you. By all means, like and subscribe, if you will. I think it's over here on this side. So like and subscribe to get more of our content as we move forward. And thank you so much for joining the channel. For now, Greybeard out.
Thanks for listening to SolarWise. Greybeard Talks Solar. Please visit our website, SolarWiseCO.com, to learn more. And we will see you next time on SolarWise.